That is good to hear. I appreciate you coming on, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good, man. He's Joe Diaz. Thanks for coming in, bro. Hustling Hooks. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you guys.
We're live. Let's go. I didn't realize we were live already.
Yeah.
Eric does not skip a beat.
I'm always like, well, have you ever been in people's live and you're like, where are they at? Are they coming? Like, one day I forgot who it was, but dude, I'm like waiting on this guy, and he never even showed up for his own premiere. Like, I'm in there trying to support the man. He doesn't even show up.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't remember who that was, but I was like, man, that guy never even showed up. He just did his own premiere. Hey, Tracy.
How's it going, Tracy?
He's giving you a let's go.
Do I need to put a hat on to match you guys here?
I mean, if you want, man.
I do it to keep from reflecting up on the screen, like myself.
Yeah, I don't want my bald head to be reflective either.
See, that's what I'm working on right there, trying to keep her.
I don't really look good in hats, though. Like, you see, it's like awkward for me. I can't ever find one that fits me. This one's actually new at tags, but
hey, all right.
Star Wars action.
Yeah. Oh well, I'll go bald tonight.
There you go.
Hustling Hooks. What's up, guys? Melinda and Adine. They're awesome. If you guys don't follow them.
Nice.
Hustling Hooks. What's going on? Tommy,
let's go, baby.
Yeah.
We got Mr. Bill in the chat tonight. Ken, thanks for coming in. Lewis, thanks for being here. Cali Reseller. Nate, Drifter Thrifter is dropping in from Australia, man. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Nikki T in the house.
Early.
Appreciate you guys coming in. Yeah, I don't even know. I always get lost on the time zone thing with Nate. Sometimes he comes in with me on listing day on Tuesdays. I was like, dude, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning over there, bro.
Yeah.
He actually had a bat getting in his eBay room when he was listing with me the other day. I was like, it's crazy. Miss Annie,
going on, Annie?
Coming in. Mike. Man, I did stop by your store the other day, bro, but you weren't there. So, hate to miss you. Hit me up on the IG sometime. We'll get together. Mike owns a thrift store here locally that I go to. He's also a flipper himself.
That's
cool.
Got the thing going down. Chris, Cajun.
What's going on, Chris?
Thanks for coming on in.
I like how everybody's just like picking who they want to say hi to in the chat.
Me and Sam always talk about the awkwardness of YouTube, right? Like, if you were to put YouTube in real life, like, imagine you're in a room, someone's giving a little speech or whatever, or they're talking, and someone walks in and everybody in the chat in the room like turns around, hi.
or even better, like right in the middle of it, someone just throws $50 at you.
Yeah.
Like for no, he's just like in the middle talking, just throws money at you
and hands it to you. Here you go.
And leaves a little comment.
Or they throw money and they yell at you. They just
That's right.
Oh man, it's funny, man. It is funny for sure. Do thank all you guys for being here, man. Obviously, we thank Drew for hanging out with us this evening. Man,
yes, sir.
I'm pulling up the live on my YouTube. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just gonna have it planned.
You're good. I mean, chat is one of those things that you're always like, it's hard to get it all worked out. I'm actually in the middle of transition with my internet, so I'm streaming off the phone tonight.
Okay.
Overheat, but so I've got the computer down here, the phone's up there, kind of double duty. And the guys that were in my Tuesday when I do my listing, you obviously saw the under the sea adventure that I had going on because it looked like I was in a fish tank. But yeah. Ms. Tina, thanks for coming in.
I appreciate you coming in, Drew. If you guys have not, I don't know why. His link is actually in the description below. I just dropped it in the chat. So check him out. This dude is he's a hard worker, man. Do you wanna kind of give everybody the $5 tour and the day in the life of Profit Monsters? Let's go, baby.
That's right. Joey Bada Bing 22, man, just gets me so hyped. Now it's kind of like our phrase is just saying, let's go, baby. We're just, him and I have become like reselling brothers. We just basically talk almost every day, but Yeah, for those of you guys who don't know me, I'm a full-time reseller, and I have my real estate license. That's what I was kind of doing before I started reselling. I still have it, but I'm not very active in it. But full-time reseller, I make YouTube videos about what I do, and yeah, I love every minute of it. I'm cross-lister, so I'm a big proponent of posting on multiple platforms, making sales. I try to be as transparent as possible. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see like I share stuff in my story or on my posts. I share things that sold or tips or things that I've done to, make extra money. And I've got a video coming out. I was going to put it out tonight, but I didn't want to be in a live and then have a video go live. So I'm going to wait till tomorrow. But I had a really good day today, like sourcing, and then I was telling Eric, right before we went on live, you guys will get, I guess, a little sneak peek, but my wife and I pre-ordered a PlayStation 5 and it got delivered to my house today. And so I took pictures and put it on Facebook Marketplace, and I sold it for $975 within like 30 minutes of listing it. So
God.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy what people will pay for the new video games. And there's some states people are saying like certain Walmarts and Targets and Best Buys are like already starting to get them in, and you can kind of scoop them if you squeeze in there from the pre-orders. Like they may get 1 or 2 extra consoles with everybody's pre-orders. So I'm keeping an eye out for those, considering I just made $475 in 30 minutes.
That's awesome, dude. My buddy just found 2 yesterday. He's up in the Boston area. Wow. And he like posted it on Facebook. He got 2 in the back of his trunk. But like they sold, he was part of that mad rush, like sold out within minutes of him being there. That's so good get, man.
Yeah, so that's it, man. I love reselling. Every day is a new adventure. It's a new journey, and yeah, I'm just excited to be here and chat it up with you guys. Thanks for having me.
What was the moment for you, like, that you got bit?
That I got bit?
Yeah.
Well, I've always been into kind of like reselling and like I guess you could say like entrepreneurial stuff. I've owned my own businesses, and like I'm very competitive, so like I haven't shared this really on anybody else's channel or anything. With the few amount of channels I've been on, I'm not trying to come across as cocky. That just came out as really cocky, but I didn't mean for it to come across like that. But
you're good, man.
The few channels I've been on, one of the things that I never talked about was like my younger years. Like when I was in high school, I was on the water polo team, and we didn't have our own pool. So we would have to sell candy bars to help pay for the rent for the pool. And like, I always had to be the #1 sales guy. So, at lunch in the hallway, I'd always be like walking up, popping out Reese's cups out of my backpack, trying to sell them. So I've always been into reselling. I just kind of love that. But what really did it for me was I think it was either the very first or the second reselling video I put out. I went to a garage sale, and I didn't even really show it in the video because I didn't know until after I sold it. I bought a box of cameras at a garage sale for $100, and one of them was a Rolleiflex or Rolleiflex, that people call it different names, and it was like a 2.8 F model, and I paid $100 for. There's got to have been 20 or 30 cameras in there, and I sold that one camera within 24 hours of listing it for $950. Jeez. And that sale was like, well, I'm never going to work for someone else again.
Dang.
Mike was talking about it too. He said he used to sell blow pops. The case would be like $6, turn it into 24 before lunch.
That's right. I used to go to my gas station, or the local gas station by my house, and they used to have like candy sales where like a sale, like you could get 30, 3 for 99 cents or something like that for the ones that weren't popular. I don't know, like 100 grand or Kit Kat or certain ones that like, I guess were just sitting on the shelves. So I'd buy them for, 3 for $1, and then I'd take them to school and sell them for $1 each. And I just do that over and over and over again. And yeah, so I used to always do that kind of stuff.
Dave in the house.
What's up, Dave? Tesla picker. I was just watching. I was watching
Tesla.
his video. I was watching his video earlier today.
Yeah, man. Dave's a great guy. He
Yeah.
Yep. No doubt.
Yeah, I was watching. He had gone to this auction place or website called HiBids, and I've seen some of those. I think there's one called Quibids and one called like Top Hatter or whatever, where it like goes down, but then if someone bids, the timer goes back up. And I've never had any luck with those. You know, like getting something cheap. One of them was Quibids, Quibids. I don't actually know if it's a website anymore, but I found out about it from a friend when it was like first in its like beta, and you could get like, you had to buy bids, so you'd spend like $100 and you'd get 100 bids, and each bid was worth a penny. So when you bid on the item, you were only bidding the item up by a penny, but each person was bidding a penny, which cost them bids. So you were essentially like $1 per bid. But whatever the item sold at in pennies was how much you paid for the item plus however many bids you made. So they could sell, you could get a $2,600, MacBook Pro for, let's just say $90, but $90 in pennies was like $9,000 or something like that, or whatever the math is, $900, so whatever that math transfers to, they sold, I think it's 9,000. However the math worked, it was insane, where you are only bidding a penny, but it's $1 per bid, if that makes sense, or something like that. I don't exactly remember, but the auction sites were making a killing. They were selling it for 10, 20, 30x what you could actually sell it for online. And then whoever was winning it was getting, a crazy good deal. You'd pay $46 for a set of brand new golf clubs that were worth $850 or something. So I was watching Dave's video and I was like, man, I need to check some of those online bidding auctions again, especially when he found that sink. I was like, man, guy just got a $900 sink for like $100.
I'll tell you what's something funny, man. HiBid. Around here, we have a local auction house that uses HiBid, which is a little different than the penny auction, HiBid. But for us, it's a state sale auction. So the other day, man, my kids, like I said, they're 23, 25. They have their own apartment. So last time I was down there, their couch is terrible, man. I was like, I said, you guys need a better couch. The other day, we're like, me and my buddy Ken, who's up here, we're talking to each other on the phone. We're both on HiBid on this auction that's down probably like maybe 10 minutes from my house. And so I was like, dude, they got a couch for $1. Like nobody's bid on this couch, right? So I bid $1. We won the auction. Buyer premium 10%, $1.10. We got the couch. We get over there to pick it up. It's a sleeper. I was like, oh my gosh.
They must have weighed 800 pounds.
So, one of those things.
Oh man.
Hey, Tim, thanks for coming in. Michigan Pickers. I think this is your first time here that I know of, unless I've missed you before in the chat. But if not, we appreciate you being here either way. So Art Vandalay in the building. Dan, appreciate you coming down. See if I missed anybody. I'm sure we caught you in the chat if we didn't get you up here. If you guys have any questions for Drew, feel free to ask. If you'll drop it in the chat with caps, that way I'll make sure I don't miss it. Even if you just cap the question mark, that'd be awesome. But yeah, those auction sites though are pretty good sometimes. You can definitely, we've got one right now, man, that has some Star Wars stuff in it that like I'm kind of drooling a little bit, but it probably ain't gonna happen because the price is going bananas. It's like 77s. Some of them are like the play sets with the box, like extreme collector stuff. So they tease.
There's this local auction house right near me too. It's probably about a 25-minute drive, and it's a government auction. So like they get a lot of like Orlando, where I'm from. Orlando is like one of the biggest airports in the country, so they get like the airport lost and found stuff, so you see like all craziness, switches, Beats, headphones, full golf club sets that people left at pickup. And I think the airport keeps it for like 90 days. And then if they don't claim it, or pay for it to be shipped wherever they went, if someone was traveling, then it goes to this auction. And I've won some stuff that's been pretty good from there. It was one of the first videos I did when I started reselling. I spent like $800 on bunch of like clothing reseller boxes, and I actually made a lot of money from them. The only problem is with the auction site is it's so outdated. They use this weird numbering system where you have to type in like the key code for the item that's on bid, and it's like 67396. And then you have to type it in. Then you have to enter your bidder badge number. Then you have to put in your bid. And then you have to refresh the page to see if somebody outbid you. It's not like eBay or high bids where you get notified immediately if you're outbid. So it comes down to like 30 seconds, 20 seconds, and you're literally refreshing your screen every second to see if you still got it, you know, because the only thing you can do is put in an insanely high bid and hope that you get it, or increase it by $1, $2, $3 and keep refreshing it. So it's a really bad system where you can only bid on like 1 or 2 things at a time if you really want to like keep up with certain things that you want. So that first video, or one of the first videos when I bought all that stuff, I didn't intend to buy $800 worth of clothing, you know, but it was because I put bids on a bunch of boxes hoping to get 1 or 2. And I ended up winning so many of them. You know, I don't regret it. I made a lot of money from it, but it was a lot of work because I had just started reselling for like a month or 2. And I had to like set up tables in my living room to sort it and organize it. It was insane.
Yeah, it is crazy, man. When I did my first high bid auction, you know, auctions, the other thing is they kind of hook you a little bit, right? Like when you get on the auction site, you're like, dude, I want to win something, like, or like chasing something. I'm always like on the high bid on the estate sale auctions, I'm always looking at the stuff. Hey, that ain't got no bid. I don't necessarily want it, but like you know, it's like a bug. Like I think I'll go after it. But then you get there to the sale and you're like, what did I buy? One of those things.
Yeah.
So is that one of your favorite ways to source? I mean, what is your favorite way to source?
It's changed over the past year and a half that I've been full time. I would say going to local auction houses was my favorite because you can get stuff so cheap, and like a lot of times the people that are at the auction houses aren't resellers. It's just people that are looking to spend money on a Friday night. So, you know, they're not really looking for stuff to resell. They're just like, you know, we got this pack of Orbit gum, you know, and it's like a box of gum from Costco, and they're paying more than what it charges for at Costco because they're like, oh, I need some gum for my house. You know, and then a Super Nintendo comes by and you get it for like $10 or something. I was really enjoying those. The one that I was going to is like super far away. And they started focusing a lot more on like furniture rather than random stuff. So I kind of stopped going. Right now, I'd say my favorite way to source is Facebook Marketplace. Even though, like I tell people on my Instagram all the time, for every one deal I get, I probably message 20 or 30 people for something, you know, but like I had a really good Facebook Marketplace score today. I shared a little bit on my Instagram, but I'm like, that's the video that's coming out tomorrow with the PlayStation 5 sale that I threw in there because it happened so quickly. But Facebook Marketplace, man, you have just people who either don't know what they have or do know what they have, but they're never going to get it. And then they kind of come crawling back to you, like when you make them an offer. So Facebook Marketplace and then garage sales. I mean, you really can't beat garage sales for the price. And in Florida, other than COVID, really, but in Florida, the garage sales are year round. So, you know, I'm a big proponent of not making excuses. So like, I won't, you know, come across as mean to anybody, but like, there's ways to get inventory everywhere right now. So Facebook Marketplace is probably my favorite though, because I get to look for stuff that I really enjoy selling, and I can be a little more picky. Whereas at a thrift store, you have to find stuff that's there and make profits. At Facebook Marketplace, you can sit on your couch and watch TV and be sourcing, and then find something that you like to sell and say, well, I'll pay a little more for this because I know I can flip it, and I don't have to go looking for it. It's literally right there on Facebook.
Hey, Tim Glock 30 has a question for you. Do you thank Tim for being here? Which do you have the most success with? Blind auctions like lost luggage, storage units, or ones that you know what you're bidding on?
So I haven't gotten into any storage locker buying. I've looked at a couple, but I haven't found the one that's made me like jump in and do it because I live in a smaller house. So a lot of my inventory is at a storage unit. So to buy another storage unit with no plan for all the inventory, just to hope that something good is inside, I haven't jumped into that business model yet. Um, as far as blind auctions, I've never bought anything blind like that. The auctions, like at the government auction that does the government auction that does the auctions that I bought from, like the airport security lost and found, it's manifested. So you can go on there and it'll tell you what's in there. Or you can, if it's not manifested, there's certain times of the day that you can go to the auction house, move it to the side, look through everything, and then put it back.
Yeah.
So I don't really typically buy unmanifested stuff.
Right. Hustling Hooks, to answer the question for myself, I am full-time as of when COVID started pretty much, but I do have other sources of income. So like, I don't depend 100% on what I sell. Whereas I don't know whether you'd classify that as full-time or not, but this is pretty much what I do anymore is this. And Sam, same question for you, I guess.
Yeah, I'm part-time. I run a business like my mushroom farm out of my apartment. So Mari, I'm kind of like Drew where I'm, tight on space. We actually just got a garage and that's still like personal stuff and inventory. And I like being small, even though like I keep coming across inventory. It's like I have no problem coming across inventory. We just our godmother was just talking to us yesterday and saying that she wants to downsize her storage unit, and she's got all this like crazy stuff in there, like first generation Japanese Pokemon cards. Gimme!
I just bought some on Facebook Marketplace the other day, and here I got them sitting right here. I got a couple of like shadowless base set cards.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be sending these in here. I'll try that way. I'm going to be sending them in to get graded here, but
okay.
I got some other ones as well. But man, the nostalgia when I bought these was just like so nice. This one is probably the nicest of the shadowless ones.
Jeez, yeah.
If this comes in at a PSA 8, which I'm hoping for, it's probably a $500 to $700 card by itself. But two things I want to mention about Bargain Resell's comment, but Hustlin' Hook said about your mushroom farm. I saw this guy on TikTok the other day who, I don't know if he does them for drugs or what, because he was talking about like how some of them are like hallucinogens and he's like messing with them and stuff. But this TikTok that I saw, when I tell you the mushroom was this big, it looked like, I'm going to see if I can pull it up.
Sure. Was he in Europe?
The size of his screen, and it looked like it was red and like white with like candy cane or something. It was insane.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh yeah, I just pulled this out of my backyard." Let me see.
It had like white spots all over it.
Yes.
Like, oh my goodness! Did he say that was hallucinogenic?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think he just said he found it.
I hope that's like not the first and last mushroom he ever eats. Because it could be like an amanita, which is like the whole mushroom that's like from Super Mario. But
it looked like that. Yeah, it looked like that. So I won't like waste your guys' time with the mushroom thing. But if I can find it, I'll show it to you, because I saw it and I was like, dude, it's crazy that you just said that you do mushroom farming, or I'm not sure what you do, but
yeah, I mean it's kind of along the same premise as like reselling there. I mean, you source cheap stuff, find a way to convert it into a product that other people want. And I don't know, especially right now with like people dealing with like, trying to boost their immune system, mental health stuff, like lowering inflammation, like people are about like mushroom supplements. I don't know. We did like 1,100.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
There used to be this show on TV called not Dirty Jobs, but something like Dirty Jobs. What was it called? anyway, it was like dirty jobs. But there was like one group that was like a ginseng farmers. There was like mushroom farmers. There was a guy who like did eels, and they would show like two guys that did like worm. They would go to the mud flats of Maine and like dig out for fishing. And the mushroom guys were crazy. I mean, they'd find the ones that are called like, I don't know, chickens and hens and stuff, and they'd sell them to these chefs for like thousands of dollars.
Yeah. I mean, like one of the upcoming Fortune 500 companies is that Back to Roots company, and they basically figure out how to talk about trash, right? They go to Starbucks. Starbucks pays them to take away their used coffee grounds that they like inoculate with mushroom cultures to sell back to you to grow at your house.
Wow.
As just like a hobbyist. And it, they effectively kind of just like made mushroom, growing as easy as growing grass in your backyard.
Dang, I can't find the guy. I thought I saved it on TikTok, but
all good.
It's probably on here. But either way, it was really cool to see, and then you mentioned it. But getting off of mushrooms, because I'm really bad at going off on tangents. Bargain Resell said our Facebook Marketplace is horrible, and I kind of wanted to just make a point about that for my own business model. Is like I said earlier, like I'm just a no excuses kind of guy, and I kind of I've actually challenged someone in someone else's live stream that said something very similar, and I said, tell me where you live. I actually think Emily Wood Conway was in this chat at the time, and she was doing it too, but I challenged them. I said, tell me the zip code of where you live, and I will go on Facebook Marketplace and find something right now that you can flip, and it depends on what you're looking for. If you're only in one or two categories and it's a very competitive category, like let's just say diamonds, you know what I mean? Like not a lot of people sell diamonds on Facebook Marketplace. So you have to know your stuff, and there's already people out there that have the connections to resell them and things like that for top dollar. So if those are the only categories that you look at, then obviously Facebook Marketplace isn't going to be good. But I mean, like I said, I kind of get 1 out of every 20 or 30 Facebook Marketplace items that I hit up. And if you look at my Facebook Marketplace, a lot of it is ghosted DMs, people that, mark it as sold and I'm on my way. And then they message me and say, someone said they're going to pay me more, or something like that. So, you have to put in the work with Facebook Marketplace, just like going to thrift stores and sourcing, you're just doing it kind of in an opposite direction, where instead of going to the items at thrift stores and looking for it, the items are kind of essentially coming to you, but you have to fight for those items versus at a thrift store, you're not walking up to a pair of shoes and fighting someone, for those shoes. So it's almost like backwards, what's the word? Backwards construction of sourcing, where you're using Facebook Marketplace in a different perspective. And I think that, a lot of people don't know how to use Facebook Marketplace to its fullest, where like if all you do is type in video games, you're not really going to have a lot of luck on Facebook, because there's so many types of video games, so many resellers, and so many people that like me who are flipping them back onto Facebook Marketplace, and 95% of the items that I get on Facebook Marketplace, it's an item I found within less than 10 minutes of someone posting it, which is why I'm on Facebook Marketplace every, probably 10 times every hour of the day. I just refresh Facebook Marketplace as I'm listing or as I'm outsourcing or whatever. I'm constantly checking it. And you just have to start narrowing your searches to different fields and categories, or broadening your horizon to other fields and categories that you may not look at. Like, I mean, I found Air Jordans for $40 that I flipped for $200. I found a GameCube today, or in its original box. I found Rock Band sets for $30 that I flipped for $250. But it just doesn't happen every day. You have to be patient. But some of those, like the Pokemon cards, for example, these cards that I got from this guy, now I'm building a relationship with him because he knows that I'm like a legit buyer. And he says, hey, anytime I get cards or get cards graded, because I buy storage units and I have some connections, maybe we can work out a deal, because I don't like to sell on eBay. but
Yeah.
I don't mind if I make a couple bucks and you make a couple bucks. So I now have built a relationship with a guy that I met on Facebook Marketplace for product that I may pay up a little bit for it versus finding it from somebody else, but I know it's going to be, I don't have to fight people and compete for it at this point. So a card that may sell for $250, instead of me finding it on Facebook for $100, I may have to pay $125 for it. You know what I mean? But I can still double my money. So, you know, Facebook Marketplace it's its own beast. It's just the opposite of thrift stores, you know, like where you're looking for it at thrift stores and you have to hope you find something good when you walk in. Facebook Marketplaces, you just have to compete with other buyers and you have to just be the first one there.
Well,
I've made thousands of dollars flipping on
obviously
Facebook.
These guys, I mean, obviously there's several things that people have brought up that, you know, maybe you could address a little bit on this. I used to do Facebook a lot more. My buddy Ken, who like I've basically kind of got into reselling here, he works EMS. So they have a lot of downtime at the station between calls, that kind of stuff. Dude's on Facebook Marketplace every day. He's going to find stuff all week long. Like he's always calling me, I'm headed up to get this or that. These guys, Sean was talking about in his area, he has a problem with a lot of scammers on Facebook Marketplace. Glock was saying that he kind of got tired of the, hey, come and get it, and then text you back while you're on your way. Got a better offer. Sorry. And then Dan had asked the question about how far would you travel for a Facebook Marketplace deal?
Sure. So I'll kind of answer all three of those, even though two of them aren't exactly questions. But they're good points to bring up with sourcing on Facebook, where it says, you know, we have a lot of scammers. It depends on what you're sourcing. If you are selling Gucci and Supreme bags, you know, you're going to get a lot of scammers because of the nature of the item. But if you're sourcing, you know, Ryobi drills for $10 that you can sell for 50, you know, or GameCube controllers, you know, things like that, it's not really going to find a lot of scammers selling that kind of stuff. And if you find that you have scammers, again, for me, it's just the nature of the beast. It's just what comes with Facebook. And then you just move on. For Glock saying the come and get it, I got a better offer. I would say, you know, although it does happen, and I just mentioned it, it does not happen that often. Normally, my strategy for that is when I find something on Facebook Marketplace, I either offer to PayPal the person or Venmo them prior to picking it up, so that they're guaranteed to sell it to me. Or I ask them to mark it as pending so that I can go pick it up. I've only probably had 2 or 3 times where someone literally, you know, in 100 Facebook finds, 2 or 3 people cancel on me, which is kind of the same algorithm as returns on eBay. For every 100 items I sell on eBay, I probably get 2 or 3 returns. So I feel like that is just, again, the nature. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but the nature of the beast. You're going to get some of those people that say, well, I was going to sell you my GameCube for 50, but someone offered me 100. I was going to pick up a GameCube a couple months ago, and it was like the GameCube deal of a lifetime. There was like 25 games, and they were all good. All the Mario parties, Mario Kart, you know, Super Smash Brothers, Animal Crossing, like all the good games. It was like a grail find for GameCube, and she wanted $70 for it. I offered her 100 and said, I'll come get it right now. And within the time she told me to come get it, I was on my way. She said somebody offered her $2,000 for the set, which I don't know if it was a scam or not. But, you know, she ended up backing out on our deal, even though I offered her more than what she listed it for. And she said she had hundreds of people messaging her because it was such a good deal. And that's how competitive you have to be. And on those types of things, you just have to be sad and walk away.
It's tough, man. I saw this like vintage Nittany Lion, like retro jacket. Like it was a Letterman jacket. So it must have been like an old football player. And this lady had it posted for $10. And I was just like late by 10 minutes. And I was like, please. I'm like, I hope it doesn't fall. I hope it falls through, you know, hit me up. She obviously never hit me up again. But I was like, dang. But it was like little things like that kind of like, you're like, dang, I just missed it. Now I want to look for the next one. You know, like they're out there. So I think sometimes too, it's, you know, I like what you talk about with the reverse thrift store, but you hope that time that you plug in where you're doing your due diligence, that's going to pay off for you, because that's what you're doing, right? You're trying to develop an eye,
Right.
much like a farmer knows like when to harvest something, right? You're trying to develop that eye, like, all right, that is a dime in the rough. I can, that Rolleiflex that's cash money. Anybody else would just like, that's a weird little box thing with a bunch of dials on it. Be like, that is $700 sitting on a shelf right there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I wanted to address a couple things real quick. First, man, Dante, dude, no sweat whatsoever on that, man. I'm happy to hear from you. Dude, I didn't know what it went down with you, and I'd done some checking up on you, bro, because honestly,
Good, man.
We were worried. So I appreciate you coming on, man. And like I said, don't even sweat that at all about last week. That's no problem whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing I was going to tell you, kind of along the lines of what you were saying, Tommy made a great point, about the whole thing about saving your search results.
Yeah.
And letting it alert you when that comes up again. But I was going to tell you, I've seen the opposite happen to both of what you guys said. Ken, my buddy who searches Facebook Marketplace all the time, he actually had one that hit, and I saw it right behind him. He'd already contacted the person. And the person had put up, dude, for $10 a piece, 3 Laserdisc players, which are huge money. I mean, like they're $300, $400, $500 a piece. He gets over there to the person, like he said it, and she said, it's yours. He gets over there. There's a guy who's drove to their house to offer them $200 for one of those units. And the lady told him, no, I've already made a deal. So he got those things for $30.
Wow.
And, like, she was stand up about it. So like I said, it is one of those things, man, that you can look at it from 2 points of view. There are stand up people. There are people that are just like you that might flip it for a little higher or whatever. And then Glock and I'll ask the question as well. Do you ever flip it back on the same platform, the same thing you just picked up from Facebook Marketplace?
Yeah, absolutely. So 2 stories real quick. I got stories about Facebook all day, so I'm enjoying this already. But so I just picked this up. If you saw my Instagram, I just picked up this GameCube in this bundle that I got on Facebook Marketplace. And I mean, it's clean. It's got the original manuals. The GameCube is in like immaculate shape. The guy
that box is mint.
It's not mint, but it's nice.
I mean, it looks good on this end.
It's got like this little paper tear right here.
Okay.
But other than that, there's like some creasing at the top, but it's in good shape. It's not like ripped. But so like this one, I was just relisting it on eBay, Mercari, and Facebook Marketplace. I paid $170 for the GameCube, 2 Guitar Hero wireless guitars with the dongles, a PlayStation 2 Slim with like 15 games, like 8 Game Boy Color games, and a bunch of other stuff. I paid $170 for it, and I just listed the GameCube for $249 back on Facebook Marketplace with the box. So I do go right back on the Facebook Marketplace. There's a mosquito in here. I'm trying to get it, but then the other side of it is like what Eric, you were just saying, is the other day, not the other day, it's probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, I made a post on my Instagram and a YouTube video about the crazy video game haul. I went to go buy a Nintendo 64 for $70, and I went and I ended up getting like a DS with 35 games, a GameCube, a Wii with 20 games. Like, it was just insane. She just kept bringing more stuff out. But she had the Nintendo 64 listed for $70 with a couple games. It was a really good deal. I knew I could flip it and, make a quick $50 to $60. I'll pay up for video games because they'll sell fast. Right. And so then I got there and there was all this stuff. And while I was there, she literally had a guy message her and say, don't sell it to the guy that's at your house. I'll come give you $150 right now. Mm-hmm. And he didn't even know about the other video games because she didn't have them listed yet. And I was like, well, you do what you got to do. I'm already here. I'm willing to buy everything. And she kept telling me like everybody's messaging her. And I said, you do what you got to do. And she goes, you know what? You're already here. I appreciate you being honest with me. Like, I told her, hey, if you want to make more money, that's no problem. But like, I'm already here. You kind of already made the deal with me. And she's like, yeah, you're right. I'm going to stick with your deal. You already committed to it. And what I did was I Venmo'd her the money for the N64 before I got there. And so she held it for me, and she held up her end of the bargain. So there are good people out there on Facebook Marketplace. You know, as long as you're friendly, if you're aggressive and mean and be like, sell this to me right now, you know, I'll come right now. Like, that's just not the way to approach those people, because a lot of people that are selling those consoles cheap, they don't know what they have. They don't know that jacket, you know, or those players, you know, the Laserdisc players, they don't know that they're $300 on eBay. Yeah. So, you know, you have to be friendly with them and tell them like, hey, are these still available? I'd be willing to come pick up as soon as possible. Not just say, I'll come get them right now, you know, because then people start getting sketched out and they're like, why are you being so aggressive? So
the crazy thing with that lady, she said she was getting messages like crazy. But I mean, honestly, those people, they were wealthier. She said that her husband literally, he bought a storage unit to get some speakers that all the rest of that stuff was in there with. He's like, he could care less about the Laserdisc. All he wanted was these 2 speakers out of here.
Yeah.
Somebody else said, well, Mike had mentioned in the chat, and then I have another question as well. Out where we live, Mike, we're a smaller community. So our Facebook Marketplace, like, if you were to immediately list it right back on there, he's right. You might catch flack here because people would get on your thing and start like, hey, I saw this guy have this for, because the other side of that smaller community mentality, and I guess maybe some of it might be, people don't delete their old stuff. Like I've seen stuff that's been sold for months that's still on there. So yeah, I guess you'd have to be a little bit more. He said he waits a few weeks before he puts it back on there because it is a smaller community. There is one of those things. But Tim had asked the question back in the day. People got good deals on the eBay auctions for looking for stuff that were bad descriptions or misspelling. Is that work on Facebook Marketplace as well?
Yes, absolutely. That's one of the ways that I get a lot of stuff on Facebook Marketplace is, you know, people don't know what they have and they just say retro games, you know, and then they've got rare Super Nintendo games or something like that, you know. So I use a lot of different keywords when I'm searching all the time. You know, you can just type in shoes. You know, some people have like Air Max 97s or Vapor Max shoes. I'm just using those for an example. And all they do is put shoes, you know. So if you type in Vapor Max, you're not going to find them. But if you type in shoes, you're going to find them. So, and people still do that on eBay all the time. I saw a guy recently get a Nirvana shirt, a vintage Nirvana shirt on an auction for like something insane, like $30 or something like that. It was a $1,000 shirt because the guy spelled Nirvana wrong in the title. And so nobody saw it on the auction because you have to type it in right. You know, so it just, Facebook Marketplace is it's on its own level. Like, I love Facebook Marketplace for all the different facets, but you know, for me, one of the reasons why I don't care if other people see me that I'm relisting the items I just bought from them is for a couple of reasons. The first one is I'd say 80% of the people I buy from, I tell them that I'm a reseller and I ask them if they have any more stuff. Right. So, you know, somebody's selling something. There's the law of supply and demand, right? But then there's also the law of needs and wants. So somebody just wants something out of their house. They don't care what you do with it after you buy it. 50% of the people that I go to on Facebook Marketplace deals, they go, so what are you going to do with this DVD combo player? You know, when I say, oh, I'm a reseller, I'm going to repost it on eBay. You know, it actually has quite a bit of value, you know, and of those 50% people that ask me, 50% of those people then start asking questions because half of them don't care. They just want it gone. And then the other half start getting inquisitive and they're like, wait, this is really worth money. So, you know, then you're down to about 25%. And at the end of the day, I don't care what people think about me, and not in a mean way. It's just, you know, the people that I normally get stuff from, like I got the Rock Band stuff, the PlayStation, the GameCube. The guy I bought it from did not take good pictures. It was not a clean listing. You know, it was like all jumbled together. I could tell what it was. But, you know, if you don't really know your stuff, you know, you may not have noticed that the Rock or the Guitar Hero guitars were wireless or whatever. So, you know, when I go to relist, you know, my picture, let me see, the picture that I just listed the GameCube for, I'm going to see if I can get this to focus. that looks way different than the listing that I, responded to in the Facebook ad. So the guy who sold it to me is probably not going to go on Facebook and search GameCubes to see if I relisted it. And even if he did, he probably wouldn't even notice that mine was the same because it looks different from the picture. Because I took everything out. You can see everything. It's laid out nicely. It's a different background. But at the end of the day, I don't care. Like, I'm in this. It's the same way about thrift stores. Like, I just don't care if, people think that. I'm not a death pile type of person. So I don't like to just buy stuff and then not list it. If I'm afraid that it's going to get flack on Facebook Marketplace, so be it. The guy can message me all he wants, but he's the one that he agreed to my price, or I agreed to his price,
Well, I don't think, with and talking with what Mike's talking about, because I've actually seen this happen on Facebook here. Our community, I mean, dude, you're talking about population, maybe like 15, 20,000 people. So like in our whole county. So like, when you talk about that, like, I think what he's talking about is getting pushback from other people outside of the person that sold him that. But Tommy made a great point. Like for guys like in that situation, if you buy it with your personal and flip it in a business account, then, it's not the same look to it. I see people all the time in thrift stores that I know they're flipping on Facebook Marketplace because I see their stuff. I see their profile. It's the same person that beat me to something. But the other side of it is that bottom line, it's a business. And if you're open and honest with people about what you do, which I do that, I catch less flack than I find great deals by saying, hey, I'm a reseller. That's what I do. Hey, well, come on in. I got this other stuff. Would you be interested in that? That's what you get.
It's amazing how many people, first of all, at least from my experience, and I live in Orlando, where there's, I don't know how many, 3.8 bajillion people in Orlando,
right.
So I don't give a hoot about people saying anything, but a business account is a great model for people who, I guess, are a little more nervous about getting flack. It's a great option, but I lost my train of thought from what you were saying, but at the end of the day, like it is what it is. Like if people want to waste their precious time, oh no, I remember I was gonna say about being a reseller is like I responded to one lady whose husband passed away. Excuse me. She had like one or two items on Facebook Marketplace, and I messaged her, and then she tells me she has this whole storage unit full of stuff from her husband passing away. And then I made a whole YouTube video about it, and it was a private pick. I've made hundreds on that deal. And like her husband worked for like a Dodge dealership. I must have bought over 100 Dodge SRT Ram Hellcat hats from this lady for $2 a piece, and I sell them for $25 each on eBay. And I've made so much money just on the hats. That's not even including everything else. There was Harley parts, there was vintage Hot Wheels, there was all sorts of stuff. And, it was just from me telling her, like, she goes, well, hey, what are you going to use these for? I don't remember what the original listing was for. And I told her I resell on eBay. And she's like, I got a whole storage unit if you want to go through it. And then she let me go through her house, and in her closet, the stuff that her husband, when he passed away, like had all these jackets and, shoes and stuff that were in original shoe boxes. And she just wanted it gone because of the emotion of it. She couldn't take it being in her house anymore.
Yeah.
So the opportunity is out there. And I would say to anybody in the chat or anybody listening later, if you have any type of fear of letting people know what you do, or, fear of getting flack, I would say step out of your comfort zone and just tell people, because I've made more money telling people that I'm a reseller, going to somebody's house to pick up something, than I have just responding to Facebook ads without telling people. Because every time I don't tell someone, and I just like, I just want to get in and get out before they sell it from under me, or something like that, because it's a really good deal, I find that everybody else that I tell, they say, oh, you're a reseller? Hey, I've got more stuff. Hey, I have a storage unit. I've got a closet full of shoes. Are you interested? And Like the one guy I got the Jordans from, I paid $40 for him on Facebook Marketplace, and he showed up with like 8 boxes of Jordans with original box. And it just turned from one deal to 9 pairs of shoes.
That's awesome, man.
I mean, I thought that was what you would say initially when I asked you about the sourcing question with your, real estate background. It's the private picks and some of those house, because I mean, I just had it happen to me from family. Just I had a private pick to myself. Someone's just downsizing because their husband had passed away, and it's a lot of stuff. And it's like, okay, and it works out for them. It's, they don't have to pay anybody, to clean out their house, or even just to pay a, one of those estate sale companies to kind of manage all that stuff, because it's not like they make money off of it doing that. So,
well, it's a win-win for everybody. And at the end of the day too, this is the way that I look at it. Twofold. The first one is I love what I do. I'm very passionate about reselling, and the whole process from sourcing, listing, cleaning, scrubbing shoes with a magic eraser, making YouTube videos, shipping it. Like, I love the whole process. So I have no problem telling people what I do. And then the second of all, what's the worst that can happen? Someone say no? Like, you say, oh, do you have any other video games that you'd be interested in selling? And they say no, and you still walk away with what you originally purchased. It's not, there's no harm done. Like, that's why you see, Matt from Part-Time Pickers, every time he finds a video game or a vintage t-shirt, he's like, do you have any more vintage t-shirts inside? Yeah. Because he knows that if there's one Pearl Jam shirt, there's more than likely a bunch more in the closet, so it just, and then you become, that's how Lonnie got his guy, on YouTube. Lonnie has the guy that only deals with him. And it's like, if he didn't make that original connection and tell him he's a reseller, the guy may not have known and just thought he was a collector and then blew it off. And now he's got a guy he spends thousands with every year, on resellable inventory.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole Gretzky quote, right? You miss every shot you don't take.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, I feel that, man. I a lot of those, I mean, even when I met Craigslist Hunter, that was his whole thing, just building those connections. I mean, it's like what you do. Why would you? I mean, I guess there are some folks, I guess, have a stigma around it. And I've heard like story of wives who said, they put up with it for a week and then they told their guy to get a real job and get rid of all the crap and whatever a real job means. But man,
Dave just said that, one of the best things about being a reseller for me is when you get people calling you about stuff, it's the best. There's no greater feeling than friends that I went to high school with that I haven't talked to in 10 years that randomly find me on Instagram again, or have just been following me because I turned my personal Instagram basically into my business, True Thrifts and Flips and Profit Monsters, that messaged me. Like, one kid messaged me and was like, hey, I got tons of jerseys and shoes that I don't wear anymore. He's like, you can just have them. I'm like, no, I got to give you something because we went to high school together. I'm like, it's not like that. And then next thing you know, he is buying stuff from me. He sees my Instagram and he's like, yo, how much for that Steph Curry jersey? And, he's paying me full asking price because he wants to support my business. Like, I offered him a discount, so I don't have to ship it and list it. And he's like, no, I want to give you what you would sell it for. And the fact that people that either go to my church and they know that I resell, or wherever on Facebook or Instagram. I have one guy who's the guy that I got the phones from. This was about last year, I paid $1,000 for like probably $10,000 worth of corporate IT equipment, like office phones and Mitel units. I don't know what they are. They're the things that you have like all the Cat5 cables plugged into, processors and stuff. And he was actually friends with a guy that was in a band that I followed locally back in like almost middle school. And he's like, hey, I'm the top IT guy for this company I work for, and they want me to get rid of all this stuff. I don't have the time to sell them online. Do you want to come buy them all? And I was like, dude, we haven't even talked in like 15 years. Wow. He's like, yeah, but I follow everything you do. I love your page. And I know you go to church. I respect you. I know you're a stand-up guy. and he's like, you can have them everything for $1,000.
Wow.
And at the time, like $1,000, I had only been reselling for probably 5-6 months. Like $1,000 is kind of a lot of money. And when I got there, he just kept throwing more stuff on the pile and was like, here, take this. Here, take this. And then 2 weeks ago, he just messaged me and was like, hey, I got a bunch more stuff. You can just have it for free. And I made so much money on that deal. I made my money back on that $1,000 buy literally in like 48 hours because I went home and listed stuff. And I've made so much money. It's just insane. So building those connections and just telling people what you do is one of the easiest ways to get inventory.
No doubt. No doubt. Hey, I do want to recognize a few people in the chat and obviously continue on this line of conversation. Because first of all, the Real Housewife, Angie, first time here. She's been a reseller for 20 years.
Wow.
Angie, we're glad that you joined the community, and it's great to have you here. Appreciate you coming on. Derek has dropped in. Fundamentals of Side Hustle. Miss Wendy's in the house. We thank you for coming by. Marcus, Sumu Thrift. Guys, after ours, a show tonight. Marcus and these guys have a show as well, coming on at, what time for us? Like 10 o'clock for me. So, Marcus, I may not catch you, bro, but I'm with you. Louis and Joe, Philly Picker, Louis, Lone Star Picker, thank you for coming in. We do, man. Contacts. What I was going to say to you, though, what the hells, Jeremy and George, thank you for being here as well.
Hey, what the hells? What's up?
They
don't know me, but I know them.
There you go. you got a bag of quarters under your desk.
Oh my gosh. Listen, if there's anybody in this world that loves coin pusher games, it's me. You can ask any of my friends, and my stereotype with all my friends, because my family is Jewish, I've always been known as the cheapo. Like when we go out and do stuff, like I'd always bring a coupon or something like that, to try to save money. And like they always call me like the Jew, the Jew cheapo, because Jews are stereotypically like tight with money, whatever.
Yeah.
So like I've had that joke going on in my life for like the last 15 years. But I love coin pusher games. I'm such a sucker for them. I almost bought one about 2 years ago. There was a gas station going out of business, and they were selling one for like $500. And I should have bought it and just put it in my house, but I didn't pull the trigger. I'm such a sucker for those coin pushers. I love watching those videos. It's like so therapeutic for me to watch them chuck money in those, because I'll go to like Dave and Buster's, and play for tokens or tickets, but it's not the same. It's not the same when you get real quarters back out. It's like when you sell something really good on eBay and you just get that rush when one quarter falls out.
Yeah.
Jeremy and George, it sounds like you guys are on to something here.
Yeah. Hey, we need to make either a partnership and go into business together, or don't ever let me come near you because I'll go bankrupt.
Hey, Drew, they're moving to Florida, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're going down south for the winter.
Man.
Yeah, maybe we can meet up. We can buy a storage unit or something.
Yeah, they actually stopped by and had dinner with Rev and Nikki T on the way down or way back.
Bro,
hey,
you got a gun and Kevlar vest
coming in? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, you got like a gun and Kevlar vest. I feel like every time they crack open a storage unit, it's just like a drug deal, a cop, and a dead person involved. Like,
yeah.
When I first started watching resellers on YouTube, because my dad and I actually at one point had talked about going into the storage unit business together when Storage Wars was big and all that. My dad's pretty wealthy. He's well off, and he just kind of like was looking for something to do. I was like, I'll do all the work if you buy the units. And he never committed. But when I started getting into reselling and I found, Jeremy and George's channel and stuff, sometimes you watch them and you're like, there is no way this is possible that somebody just left a safe full of gold coins in this, in this storage unit. And, because you see the show and you're like, oh, some stuff is planted to this, so it's just really cool to watch.
Well, I mean, and those guys will tell you too, like if you get a chance to talk with them, they'll tell you that it's, it's not like you're finding home runs all the time, but like obviously I can tell you what they've told me about YouTube. Always be filming, and then you'll always have something you'll find for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot more strikouts than there is gold mines.
I mean, like he's told me, he said he's never lost money on a unit. Like he's gonna get his money back, bottom line. But like if you're selective in what you buy, and those guys have been doing it for a minute. I think definitely. I mean, but like we've talked about with you and Facebook and everybody else has their own. It's different business models. It don't work for everybody. And if you jumped into it head first, like some people do, they lose their shirt because they don't know what they're looking at.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's the same thing for reselling, not even just storage units. It's just like people just start buying stuff, that they don't know the value of it or they don't know what it's worth, but they, and this is kind of a topic that some people may find borderline controversial. But I mean, I'm just kind of an open guy. Is like when people are learning about reselling and they find people like Rally Roots or Cincinnati Picker, the bigger channels, and they just see Cincinnati Picker walk up to a garage sale and pick up a clock and pay $1 for it. And then they think, oh, well, every clock is worth $100 because Cincinnati Picker just sold a clock for $100. 90% of vintage clocks are not worth $100.
Right.
But he's developed an eye. He's, he knows his stuff. It's just one of those things. So a lot of people see Cincinnati Picker buy something and then they just say, oh, if it's that easy, I'll just go to garage sales and start buying stuff. And then they're not selling it because they really don't know what they're buying, or they see, Rally Roots pick up a Vineyard Vines shirt or something at a thrift store, and think that they're going to, sell theirs, and they buy a size small and it's an awkward color or something, but they see the brand and they just think that it's worth a lot of money, and it's not necessarily the case. And so, I'm very open with telling people, like, you have to look up comps, you have to do your research. If you watch Cincinnati Picker, for example, like, I think he's got an amazing channel. He's a very good guy. A lot of the stuff that he buys that he's selling to viewers and stuff is like $8, $10, $12. He's not buying a lot of home run stuff, but he can do that because he's making sales to viewers and he's making more money on YouTube than he is reselling. For me, I'm the complete opposite. I'm barely making a couple dollars per video if I'm lucky on YouTube. So I need to buy stuff that's more profitable. Not that he doesn't sell good stuff or he's not a good picker. He's an amazing picker, but he can get away with selling stuff for $8 where that's just not in my business model anymore because I have a mortgage to pay from reselling, so there's a little bit of a what's it called? Like a seesaw when you watch people on YouTube versus actually doing it in real life. If that makes sense. It's not trying to be negative or pessimistic towards
real life, right? It's real life.
Well, it's like I think it's like watching a stock trading channel. Like in anticipation that somebody's going to give you that stock that's going to take off. Like, I don't know. Like, by the time I'm telling you, it could be on the downtrend, as far as like a stock or a product that I'm picking up, cards just happen to be, the thing right now. If I told you, like, I don't know, a year ago, you'd probably laugh in my face trying to get baseball cards. Who knows what cards are going to be like next year, and it's tough. Like, you hope that you get a box. Like, I know, like, at least Eric and I hopped on the trading card train for a little while when it was like the hype. Now you got to deal with, like, what do I do if the whole box is a bust? Do I sell the box or do I sell the cards? And now, like,
I sell the box.
Yeah, but like, the nuance is like, do you take that as like you're just jumping into it or an opportunity to like just learn instead of just like, well, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm just gonna move on to the next thing?
Yeah, that's what I did with the Pokemon cards, is because like I've collected them since I was a kid. But I am so cheap that I would never pay, these premium prices of what they're fetching now. But I know that like getting them graded and, holding on to like the base set stuff is kind of what's popping right now. So like the ones that I bought, like I said, you know what I mean? Like all of these, I paid up for them more than what I would normally pay for Pokemon cards, but I'm doing it to essentially learn the grading process, how long it takes to send them in. And I know like what you were saying about what the hails or the storage unit, absolute worst case scenario, I'll break even and just get my money back without getting them graded and learn the process. But I'm sure I'm going to get them graded and at least double my money because I still got a good deal on them, but I paid up. So, you know, when it comes to, like you said, I mean, some stuff is worth sitting on, some stuff is worth taking the risk, and some stuff is not. Normally, I'm more of a risk taker when it comes to my business because I'm just a no risk, no reward kind of guy.
Yeah.
You know, like I like to go to the bins and get clothing for $1.39 per pound, and you're paying 50 cents for a t-shirt that you can sell for $20. I like that business model because you're barely spending anything to make profit. But once your business grows and you try to scale it and you try to, you know, get to a point where you want to hire somebody to list or do your cleaning for you or your shipping for you, you can't survive off of $20 sales. You have to start finding more profitable stuff or stuff that flips faster. So, you know, like the GameCube, for example, I paid up for it even though I still got a good deal because I know that whole bundle I paid $170. I should be able to sell the GameCube alone for $200, $250, and then everything else is icing on the cake. And video games sell fast. It's not like I know I'm going to be sitting on that GameCube for years. I'll sell it in less than a month. You know,
But
probably
that's what-
faster than that.
Yeah, so that's what you're talking about. Even though you're talking about a risk, it's a calculated risk, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, and that's the thing that I think a lot of times that people lose sight of. Just like with cards, the other day, Colton sent an IG out to some of us. We all went to 127, 411. And so we're in a group chat. He sent a group chat. He nailed it at Walmart, man. He rolls in and there is, I mean, like mosaics galore sitting there, basketball cards. And then he's teasing us. He's like, man, I went to get a cart. They're gone. Like he takes another picture of the shelf. And so he sent us that thing. But then he's like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open. He goes, I'm going to sell enough to get my money back, whole boxes, and I'm going to open the rest. That's kind of what he's going to do. So then either way, he's now, hey, I've got my money back right out the gate, right? Just by selling the whole box, not taking the risk. Now you can risk it. And I know for a fact that he picked up, like, there was a Zion in there. You probably see it in the video that, you know, was pretty good. So, like, you look at things like that, calculated risk. Like I was telling today, I went to an estate sale, and it weren't really my typical estate sale that I like to go to. It was like bolts and nuts and all kinds of crazy stuff. So, but I get in there, and I look at it, and I see, like, flip open the one box. There's John Deere books sitting there, and then there's a John Deere manual and a John Deere manual and a John Deere manual and a John Deere manual. I was like, okay, like, so. But what I've learned at my estate sales, the way I buy is like I just keep stacking that pile because I got to make it worthwhile for me getting there. You know, I got to make it worthwhile to say, hey, if I put enough on this pile, I can't lose. You know, I can't lose. I'm going to come out ahead. So, like, that's kind of how I do it. A little different business model than other people, but I always suggest it. I was like, if I go to a yard sale or an estate sale, a lot of times, unless everything's tagged to the T and there's no discount, the bigger I make my pile, the less risk I have involved, right? Because I'm going to spend close to the same amount of money. That's kind of what my process is. So, calculated risk, like what the Hills had said, that they buy 1% of the storage units they look at. And you think of that. So what? Because he's looking for, hey, I need to make sure there's profit here before I'm going to invest in it. But it's still a risk.
Reselling is actually a lot harder than people think when you're talking about like scaling it as a business. Like if you have a full-time job and you want to resell as a hobby, you can go to garage sales. And yes, I did. It was a mosquito, but I got it. So now I'm good. But, you know, when you're talking, I just was talking about this on my channel the other night is, you know, scaling a business. And I was interviewing Rinzy, Ryan, and Lindsay, the shoe resellers. Well, scaling a business and growing something to an actual business versus just reselling random stuff are two totally different things, you know, and I don't want to come across as aggressive when I'm saying this. I'm just so passionate about it.
I feel you, man.
So, It's just two totally different things. And you really do have to learn to take some risks and some calculated risks. And you have to be able to step out of your comfort zone. Like, I started reselling by buying stuff from garage sales and looking it up, but mainly like clothing, just random clothing, and video games. And then I learned about Disney stuff. And then I learned about, power drill chargers. And then I learned about, whatever. I can't even think about, video games and certain things that I never knew. And then I started buying like cans of limited edition Mountain Dew at Winn-Dixie, and I would sell them on eBay for $7 a can, and like, you just have to expand your knowledge, be willing to grow, and then put in the work. And, if you really want to say you're a business person or an entrepreneur, like, you have to be able to kind of, put yourself through the fire of, being willing to take losses, being willing to fail a couple times to learn what works and what doesn't. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you're never going to scale if you don't take risks and calculated risks, where, not every time you go to a garage sale, you're going to look everything up, because you eventually learn stuff. But like, I don't pick up anything at this point unless it's in a bundle deal, that I would list for under $10 or $15. Very rarely will I buy something that sells for $10 or $15, because I don't even want to pay $1 for something that I can only make $10 on. It's not worth my time anymore when I can get GameCubes for 100 and sell them for 200. Like, I'm paying more, but I'm making more in profit as well. And it takes me less time to sell one GameCube for $100 profit than it does to list 10 t-shirts to make $100 profit.
Yeah.
So your mindset changes when you start following a business model that you can scale versus just products that you like to resell because you like vintage t-shirts, for example. Like, I love finding vintage t-shirts, but it's not a scalable business in my area. There's 50 to 100, 20 to 25-year-old weed smoking kids that go to the bins every day, and all they do is look for vintage t-shirts that they can sell on weekend pop-ups. So the competition is way too tough at the bins to find vintage t-shirts to scale it. Now, if you can be like Mr. Buys a Lot and find a plug that will give you vintage t-shirts, then that's great. But, it's not a scalable business model for the average person unless you have a plug. So, with all that being said, it just, taking business to the next level is like what I'm trying to do right now, to go from just a guy who sells stuff on eBay to like, I'm actually showing you that you can quit your job and make more money selling stuff on eBay than your corporate job where you thought $60,000 a year was good. And I'm netting more than $60,000 a year selling you stuff on eBay. You know what I mean? And those aren't my numbers. Like, I'm not saying it like my numbers, but like, there are people that do it, and I'm doing it, that make more money than people who went to college with a 4-year degree, and they hate their life.
Yeah.
You ever read
chilling, having an interview with you guys, making friends in the live chat, selling stuff while I'm talking to you guys in a live chat. It's just crazy.
You ever read Tim Ferriss stuff, like 4-Hour Work Week stuff? I mean, that's a relative versus like absolute pay talk right there. If you guys don't know, I mean, think about, let's just, for example, just say Drew does make 60 grand a year doing what he does. Just think of like the happiness trade-off for him versus someone who's like pushing papers, Zoom calls all day, man. That's your life right now. Zoom calls all day, meeting quotas. And I forget who said it in one of the live streams. It's like, a boss pulls up in a brand new Porsche, an employee comments on it, and the boss says, I think it was Cernock actually, now that he came here, if you work hard next year, I'm going to get a new one too. Like, it's like, dang, and it's, the happiness trade-off is so huge.
I'm a massive proponent about happiness and freedom. And when it comes to the money, again, Hustle and Hooks and I are on the same level with this kind of stuff, which is why I love them. Those are the only two things that matter to me. I would much rather make 30 grand net a year and be able to spend time with my family, watch my kids grow up, take my son to hockey practice, than make 90 or 120,000 a year and be stuck at a job where I never see my kids. I don't get to take them to school. I don't get to drop them off. I don't get to watch them grow up. I don't want to live in a world where my wife has to send me pictures of my kids doing silly things every day because I'm not there to witness them myself. That's just no life to live for me. And again, that's not to squander anybody who has a career.
Yeah.
A lot of people have full-time careers and have a family and have kids and they love what they do. Their schedule works. But for me, that's a major no-go. Like I get too like antsy. Like I can't be doing the same thing for an amount of time unless it's listing because I know I'm making money. Like I could sit and list for 8 hours. But the freedom, like with what the Hales is saying, the freedom, there's no money that can compare to it. I don't care if I never, make it on YouTube, where I start making a lot of money on YouTube. Like I'm sharing my journey because I enjoy to share my journey with people. Making money on YouTube would be great, but the fact that I have the freedom to make videos and spend time with my family and put my kid in my video where at the end of the video he's yelling peace money, because he wants to be like me. I don't care what anybody says about my outro. That is, some people have like left comments on my YouTube saying that your outro is annoying, it doesn't match your personality, but it's a sentimental connection I have with my son, and he loves when I do it, and that's all that matters to me. So, the freedom and the happiness, when you have that happiness, it just makes everything else go away. It really does. So I'm very thankful for what I do. I'm thankful for being a reseller. I don't take it for granted, but I work really hard to make it work so that I can be free as well.
Well, that's the key. Go ahead, Sam. I know you're coming on the same wavelength right here.
No, I mean, I was gonna ask, is that what keeps you going when, let's say you have a tough day. It's a bad day of reselling, bad day. It didn't go the way you want. Sales are down. Maybe you had a difficult buyer, or you're just dealing with a negative comment, something that just kind of spoils your day a little bit. Is that what keeps you going?
There's a lot of stuff that keeps me going, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I'm just high on life. Like I'm happy to be alive. I'm just thankful that I have healthy kids, a wife that loves me. I don't deserve her. You know what I mean? Like I really don't deserve my wife. She's so far out of my league, and she puts up with all my reselling crap, and but she knows that I will do whatever it takes to provide for my family. I've delivered pizzas. I've driven Uber. I've sent offers to watchers and likers on Poshmark and eBay for stuff when I had slow days, that I didn't want to sell for lower prices. But, it's just pushing product out the door at the end of the day. But what keeps me going is knowing that I'm providing for my family, and they're proud of me. There's no greater feeling than, my son wanting to go thrifting with me because he finds something. He's like, are you going to buy that to sell it on eBay? Like it just, man, there's just really no greater feeling. And,
yeah, man.
But one thing I've been a big proponent of as well for resellers, people say they get burnt out or they get tired or they get stressed out, is like, I love the process. And this is a big Gary V thing. If you like Gary V, and I said it earlier, from start to finish, source to ship to customer received item, leaving feedback. I love the process. There's not one part of being a reseller that I dislike. I could say that there's things that I like less, like doing my taxes, but being a reseller, I love the process. Some people like to source and they have mad death piles because they don't like to list. I don't do that. If I'm going to buy something, I'm going to list it because I want to sell it and I want to make money. So, like my mind is just like always going. It's like sometimes I don't go to bed till like 4 a.m. just because like I just am just pumped, man. I'm just pumped to be a reseller. So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, what I was going to say is along the same lines is, I mean, there's some people obviously commenting in the chat. You know, Cernock popped in and he's like, man, it's way better than grinding it out as a restaurant manager, which is what he was doing before. And then, you know, even Kent was saying reselling is kind of like printing cash. You know, you think of it as like, if you've ever worked corporate or if you've ever worked a job that you just was terrible, you know, like when you're working out in the professional world, and it's like, man, dude, literally I get to go do stuff I enjoy. And then you think of when you do buy stuff, I mean, I have a death pile just to say because I buy way too much. But I'm also in the back of my mind always thinking, especially in the times we live in, after going through the round one of shutdown, I was like, dude, when shutdown happened for me, I didn't skip a beat because I had plenty of stuff to list. Like I was good to go. But I do think of the why. You know, I think of the reason when things are, you know, like you get that customer that asks you to remeasure things for the 5th time, or hey, can you go pull this out and like look and take a picture of the upside of this or whatever. You know, initially your initial reaction on weird stuff is like, really? Come on, man. Like, but then you think about like what else could I be doing, man? I've worked a bunch of different jobs. I've worked like I used to work for the bread company, dude. I was putting in 12 to 14-hour days in the summertime. Like I was not even seeing my family. I was going home and going eating and going to bed, taking a shower, waking up and starting round 2. So like for me, I think of that stuff now. It's like, what's the why? And then if you can honestly have that why in your brain, hey, this brings freedom, but freedom through work. Obviously, we know you can't just blow it all off or not list anything or not source good product or any of that kind of stuff. There's work involved, but man, the work is easy compared to what it could be. Like,
it is so easy. I run my entire business off of my phone. Literally my entire business. You know, when I think of somebody asking for extra measurements, like I think of like, would I rather be providing someone with measurements for somebody who's about to give me their money, or would I rather be at an office where some manager comes in and yells at me because I didn't finish my paperwork fast enough?
Right.
So then I go into the bin, I pull it out, I take a measurement, I fold it back up, I put it in the bin, I say, hey, thanks so much for your interest in this item. It measures this. Please let me know if you have any other questions.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that hard.
No.
You know?
I was gonna say, I think the thing too, you know, and this kind of ties back to your attitude about sharing what you do is your gratitude, man. I think that's very obvious, especially like, you know, you could be grateful, like even just like grateful that somebody's giving you the opportunity to private pick their stuff, right? You're not scummy about it. What else you got? What else you got? I can't. How much can I like take from you? Yeah, you're not. You know, even though you're a reseller, you don't give off that vibe, and you know, I can see why people are like, "Here, man, here's some more stuff." Like, what else? How else can I support your journey? And that's a great place to be, dude.
Yeah, there's nothing greater. I mean, than, you know, being your best version of yourself every day. And I'm not perfect. Like, I don't want to come on this live and tell you guys I'm like this 24/7. You know, there's sometimes I'm like dead in my office at 4 a.m. taking pictures, listing, you know, because I'm responsible for making it happen, you know. But, you know, I've worked for so many other people and I've been burned on every single one of them. Like, I can tell you the best job I ever had was my first job when I was 16 and I worked at Cold Stone scooping ice cream. You know what I mean? And it's because I was like 16. I had no responsibilities. I was making money and buying whatever I wanted, you know, and hanging out with my friends, you know, playing Guitar Hero on the weekends before Guitar Hero became something that I sell on eBay, you know. But, you know, like I worked for Publix, a grocery store here in Florida, and I was trying to work hard to become a full-timer, and I was working with the full-time guys, and it came time for my yearly evaluation. I scored a 98 or a 99 out of 100, and they offered me a nickel raise.
Yeah.
5 cents for a year's worth of hard work. And I, you know, those types of things just, you know, flip a switch in me and say, you know what, no matter what, one day I will work for myself and I will never have to deal with these type of corporate companies, which Publix is a great company. They've got great benefits. So I didn't understand why I only deserved a nickel. And they said, oh, well, that's just what we're offering part-timers right now.
Yeah.
You know, I could have went back to Cold Stone and scooped ice cream and made more money because I was making tips for singing songs like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, plenty of ice cream coming your way, zippity doo dah, zippity yay. You know, like I get tips for singing dumb ice cream songs.
Yeah.
I can make more money working for Publix, but I wanted to work my way up because I knew of the benefits. But they weren't seeing me as an asset to the company, so I just left. And you know, every person that I worked for, which is so crazy because I try to be an honest person, a man of integrity. I've never stolen from anybody I've worked for. Every time I would work for somebody, I would pick up trash if I saw it on the ground. You know, I'm not trying to get religious, but I believe what the Bible says, which says, in everything you do, do as unto the Lord, not as unto men. So whether you're a religious person or not, you can take that principle and say it for yourself, treat this business as if it was your own business, not somebody else's. And so I've always done that. I've always stayed late to help close. I've always, been there if they needed a shift filled, and it's always bit me in the butt, so I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to work for myself. And now I'm happier than I've ever been, honestly.
Dude, that's honestly, I mean, my experience working, I mean, I left pro sports world practicing because of that, helping people grow their own clinics and stuff like that. I'm staying late. I'm mentoring new people all the time, and their company's growing, and I feel dismissed, when it comes time for big meetings. I'm like, yo, dude, I just helped you guys grow 4 clinics. Why do I still feel bottom of the rung? You gotta wait time. Or I've been told, oh man, I worked for one company and they did a lot of personal development, mentorship coaching and stuff like that. And I got a manager job, and I was expecting a raise because my responsibilities grew. Well, your gift is the gift of the coaching and the learning that comes with it. I'm like, you guys are pulling some stuff over my eyes, equal work, equal pay, dude.
Yeah.
And it was definitely one of those moments where I'm like, I need to get out. And I say the tough thing, being someone who was college educated, you lose that. You kind of unlearn the entrepreneurialism almost, man. It's oh, I see it with my friends now who I've left my profession, and they're like, dude, I feel so trapped. I don't even know what I would do. You're so lucky you have this farm and this reselling and this YouTube. All I know is physical therapy. This is all I know how to do. That sucks.
Yeah. One of the things that really helps motivate me and push me, I know Ken, SSK Promo, what's up, man, said, this conversation's making me rethink a few things. For me, when it comes to the job situation and stuff like that, I could probably be making more money on eBay if I wasn't making YouTube videos, because YouTube doesn't really pay out that much for me based on how many views I get and how many subscribers I have. I know it's a grind, a journey, or whatever. So I'm not there yet, but the job stuff, just for me, one of my goals, which I haven't shared with pretty much anybody, but since we're just talking about it this in depth, I really want to give back to other people. I want to be the person who never took care of me. I want to take care of other people. So when I hire my first employee to work for me, I don't want to hire somebody for $1 a listing. I want to be able to pay someone $5 a listing. I want somebody to work for me and make more money than they could working for somebody else, so that they'll never leave. You know what I mean? I want someone to feel valued. I want someone to be able to text me and say, hey, I only got 30 listings done today. I know our goal was 40. I apologize. I'll get it tomorrow. And I'm going to be the guy that's it's okay, we got this. And I'm going to go in there and list 10 more items. That's my vision for my business, my company is, I want to, Dante calls himself Black Mr. Beast. I essentially want to be in the Mr. Beast mentality, maybe not that scale or whatever, but I just want to give to other people. Like I want to teach other people what I'm doing. I don't want to create a course and make people buy it. Like I just want people to know that you can quit your job or lose your job and start making a full-time income reselling literally the next day. You can go to Goodwill and buy a pair of shoes for $10 and flip them for $25 on Facebook Marketplace and go back and do the same thing over and over again until you've built up enough money to start expanding into other categories or whatever. And, like that's just what I want to do. I want to motivate people. I want to inspire people. Eventually I'd like to do like motivational speaking, on bigger levels, just like telling people, that they can do it. Like Tony Robbins, like those types of people inspire me, on a large scale level, but like on a smaller scale, there's so many people that, don't believe they can do it or think that their business isn't good enough or that they're not going to make ends meet if they quit their job. And like, I just want to tell people that are out there listening, like, you got to just believe in yourself. You can do it. Like, I'm telling you, I have a 2-year associate's degree in business management from college, and I learned nothing when I was in school. I learned nothing. And now I am making more money than some people who have, like I said earlier, 4-year degrees. I got my real estate license because I was bored when I had my motorcycle shop. So I just wanted to learn something new, but I could make more money selling one piece of real estate than I probably could in 90 days of reselling on eBay if I found a really nice piece of property. But I'm just not passionate about real estate like I am reselling, but I'll do it for the money, but it's not the same.
Glock had asked another question. Is there a fear that you would be training your future competition?
Absolutely not. I 2 reasons. The first one is I don't believe that anybody I train is competition because they're not going to outwork me. And that's just being confident in myself as a businessman. Like if I'm going to train someone, there's no way someone's going to work harder than me. And if they do, I'll figure out a way to work harder than them. Kudos to them if they're going to outwork me, because I'm going to be like Kobe Bryant, who sees someone who's already shooting free throws, sees someone coming in and doesn't leave until that person leaves, and then stays and shoots 100 more free throws.
I mean, that's the story of Jay Williams right there, right?
Yeah.
You ever hear that? Jay Williams?
Yeah.
He was on the Chicago Bulls. He got in the motorcycle accident and then came back. That was one of the things he'd talk about. He'd practice Staples Center. He'd see Kobe in there, and they're side-eyeing each other, and he's packing up, and Kobe's still shooting. They catch up later on. He's like, dude, you're a hard worker, but I'm never going to let you walk out of my house letting you think you outwork me, man. Never. Yep. And it was like, that's why he's Kobe.
Yeah. It was Kobe or Michael Jordan. I think it was Kobe though, but that was what I was referring to. But then the other side of that coin, to answer the question, is, am I afraid of competition? No, because there's so much inventory out in the world that there is no way that anybody can be my competition in the sense of like that I'm going to run out of inventory. Like I started getting into vintage clothing when I was going to the bins, and going to the Goodwill bins was like one of my favorite things to do. But when I started seeing all these people coming in, I just changed my business model. I said, I love going to the bins and finding vintage clothing, but if there's going to be all these kids going to the bins and that's all they look for, one, I'm just going to start picking up other items and brands that I can sell, like the North Face, Levi jeans. They're leaving all that stuff behind and it's easy money, or I'm just going to start sourcing other products that make me more money. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to sit there and compete with them. I'm going to leave and find other ways to make more money. So, I mean, there literally is so much inventory out there. Anybody that says there's not is, without being mean, is fooling themselves. You can get inventory online. You can get inventory offline. You can get inventory from your mom's closet. You can get inventory on the side of the road. I found a filter queen and a rainbow vacuum on the side of the road in my neighborhood a couple months back. And I sold the filter queen for almost $300 within 2 days of listing it. And then I parted out the rainbow vacuum and I sold one part of the vacuum for $89 plus shipping. You just got to make adjustments in your business. Like I'm not telling you to go dumpster dive and you're going to get rich, but there's so many ways to get, I dumpster dive for shipping boxes all the time. There's a
Right.
Five Below right by my house, and I get free boxes for everything I ship out from Five Below. I never pay for a box. Like, there's just ways. Kent just said it's called pivot. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, you just pivot. There's no excuses. If you want to be a reseller, you just got to put in the effort. You know,
That's the thing, man. I've told, you know, because it's kind of crazy out here. I coached at a high school for a while, and like all kinds of sports, football, basketball, that kind of stuff. But so like I see so many kids coming through high school, and like one thing about it, you know, like I said, we're a small community. Like the little high school that I coached at, I mean, they'd have like maybe 40 kids in the graduating class. They would give away like $250,000 in scholarship money, like kids going off to school like nonstop. They get to school and they're back on the island, you know, after a semester. Like there's so many of them that do that. They're back working same jobs, repetitive process. And I always thought about, like, I've always told kids, I was like, you know, what everybody pushes you towards and say, hey, this is the idea of success isn't necessarily always success, right? Or it's not going to be, I mean, like I've even told my own kids, I said, if you want to grind the rest of your life, like that, but I mean, I really feel like with reselling, if you got in here and hit it hard for a period of time to where you can get a more, like you're saying, hire some people in that you can trust, that you can pour into, to where ultimately you're reaping some reward off that. True. But the other side of what you were saying with the whole, I guess with when they were talking about competition, I owned a Subway for a while. So for me, I seen the value of Subway should be the same whether I go to it in Orlando, Florida, or here in North Carolina. It should be the same, right? In the sense of if I go in and order a BMT, I can get a BMT here, a BMT there. So I think of it with reselling. I think the more resellers we have that are quality, it actually helps us rather than hurts us. Because if someone has a good experience buying on eBay, what are they going to do? They're going to continue to buy on eBay. If somebody has a good experience buying on a Macari, they're going to continue to buy on Macari. And the more people you have putting quality effort in that, the better it is for all of us, really. That's like one of my thought processes. So, you know, when I look at what you're saying about, hey, obviously you want to help train up, you know, people to be able to do this, to get out of their rat race, you know, and kind of get into something that can be enjoyable. But the other side of that coin, like a lot of these guys have said, is there's plenty of people that have come and go and reselling, but are they putting in the work? You know, are they doing the right thing, or did they come in seeing somebody made the comment, I forget where it was, back up in the chat, Lambos and rainbows that's being sold sometimes out there. It's hard work, but man, it's really easy when you compare it to other stuff, man.
Yeah.
I mean, think about having to get a 4-year degree, or in Sam's case, how long did you go to school, Sam? Like
8 years.
Forever, right? I was like, imagine 8 years to get into a place to where now I could go out and be successful. Whereas, dude, if within an 8-month time span, if you really grind at it, you can get to a place to where you're doing pretty well. Like if you're grinding and you've got good, you know, teaching, which we hope to provide on. You know, I know one of the reasons we started this show is we wanted to bring value to the community and try to help people. Yeah. And not that we have all the answers, but we bring guys in like yourself that know some more answers or contribute to the conversation, and people in the chat, man. There's tons of experience here.
I've learned so much from just Instagram and YouTube, you know, and I'm not talking about like the big channels. Again, there's nothing wrong with them, but you can't compare a big YouTuber reseller to an actual full-time reseller. Like if you're not making YouTube, because it's just unrealistic. That is rainbows and Lambos. You know, I don't get viewer sales, you know, and I'm not trying to like, you know, talk bad about it, because it's a business model. Essentially, you build up a YouTube following and then you just sell stuff to your followers. You don't even have to really do any work, and that's a great business model, you know. But like Anfisa, Far North Thrift, she said reselling's not for anybody. I've seen lots and lots of people come and leave. First of all, that's the truth, you know. But second of all, like I've learned so much from her Instagram page. Like she needs a YouTube channel, man, because she is so full of knowledge. And what she finds, she's in Alaska. I mean, you want to talk about people making excuses and saying there's not much stuff to find. The girl is in Alaska, and her 90-day total on just eBay, not including Poshmark and other platforms that she may sell on, her 90-day total on eBay is like over 20 grand. So you can't tell me that she lives in Alaska and she makes over 20 grand 90 days selling clothing. That's just hogwash. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's not for everybody. That's a big, it's a big issue. Is you have to be very, very disciplined, to not just keep buying and make sure that you're listing and selling. Like that's why Joey Bada Bing 22 has asked me to be in his live listings on Monday night. One, to help motivate him to list, but two, because I love to list stuff. So it's like, it's beneficial to the community as well as him, because I'm making sure that he's actually listing versus just sitting in the live, saying, oh, he's only listed 5 things tonight. He got to a point where he's like, all right, you need to be in my live so that I'm not just only listing 5 things in a 2-hour live, so it's a lot of work. Yeah, and Reseller Niche just said plenty of resellers with 0 social media that are never heard of are absolutely killing it, and it's the truth. I mean, there are some people out there that make a lot of money, but they just keep their head down and grind, because that's their business model. I enjoy sharing because I enjoy teaching, kind of like what you said, Eric, is I enjoy teaching people. I don't just share bolos on Instagram to brag. Like I bought a Porsche jacket at a garage sale for $4 and sold it for $150. Like there's nothing to brag about that I made $100 selling a jacket. It's only $100. But the fact that other people can learn how to make $100 is why I post that stuff. Like, hey, if you find this jacket, it's worth more than $100. And at the end of the day, like for a lot of people, $100 is a lot of money. I'm not downplaying the fact that I sold it and only made $100, but like you can look at it from both aspects as, oh, it's only $100 in the grand scheme of thing. But at the end of the day, like a lot of people don't know how to find stuff that sells for over $100. So when I share those, it's just hopefully teaching people and showing people like, hey, this stuff is out there. You just gotta go out and get it. So
that's it.
Well, so I mean, I also think too, to your point about just the percentages of people taking action, just you sharing, putting your stuff out there. I don't think everybody's going to listen to it and take action. So
yeah, it takes a major discipline and a major effort. You have to be a go-getter. You can't just expect to put up 10 listings and sell eight of those 10 items, unless you're selling extremely rare, valuable, items or something like that. But I mean, at the end of the day, it comes down to like, how bad do you want it? And that's really, for me, the big picture is like, how bad do you want it? And then once you figure it out, it's just like a locomotive. Like the first 6 months are the hardest because you're chugga, like slowly picking up traction. But once you figure it out and you're fast moving, like you just adapt and get better, pick up better things, and you start making more and more money. If you plateau, you have to just make adaptations to your business model. Yeah. So I'll be right back. Give me 2 seconds.
Very good.
Hey, Chris. Man, Sam, you led me astray.
Never copy.
Chat,
dude, I'm sleep deprived. What's your excuse?
You know me, dude. I'm waiting on you to say somebody's name.
I know. I was fast on it, and whatever.
Yeah.
I found out later in life that I'm dyslexic.
No, it's
D for dysdexia.
Yeah, for sure, man. We do thank all you guys for being in the chat tonight, man. Obviously, we love the conversation. Drew is one of those guys that's so positive, man. It's awesome to hear. Because, if we're not careful, a lot of times you get on YouTube, you hear a lot of people complaining. But, to hear somebody that's coming from an attitude of, which we talk about all the time, it's like, it could be way worse, right? What? Mike, you bought your first pallet, bro? That's
Good
what
luck,
I was trying
Mike.
to get up with you about going to Smithfield. But yeah. I'll try to
if you guys have any questions for Drew, comes back, I know we're kind of wrapping up soon. Feel free to drop him in. But yeah, man, it would be a perfect. You know, he's talking about coaching. It'd be a perfect coach.
Yeah, no doubt, man. He, such a positive guy for sure. And you know, I appreciate he's. Oh, that one's coming from Atlanta. I got you. Yeah, me and Mike have talked about looking at some pallets, man. Mike used to live up your way, Sam. Chicago.
Chicago. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, so that's cool. Changed my avatar, threw us off. You right, Chris?
Yes.
That's for sure. Well, Drew, man, we don't want to keep you all night, but dude, we definitely enjoy what you got going on. What do you got coming on next? I mean, I know you got. I know you guys got the. Why am I blanking out right now? But the podcast we were talking about. I know you guys have started that with Joey and Harry Tornado. So
yeah, that's been a lot of fun to do. It's called Triple Thrift Podcast. We just decided that we just love talking about reselling, and Joey and I pretty much talk on the phone every day about stuff. So we're like, why don't we just share what we're learning along the way in a podcast form? Because it's hard to watch, YouTube videos of other people picking and things like that when you're trying to list, because you're taking pictures, you're trying to list. Yeah. You can't watch what they're doing, and then you miss the whole video. So the podcast is good because people can listen to it while they're listing or shipping or those kinds of things, and they don't really have to worry about taking their eyes off of the focus of their work. So I've been really enjoying that. I've got a new video that's going to come out tomorrow from the stuff I got today with, the PlayStation 5 that I flipped and, a bunch of stores that I stopped in the Facebook Marketplace pickup. So like you can see almost like a day in the life when I'm sourcing, which I don't source a lot because I like to buy in bulk. So like I'll go out one day and buy a bunch of stuff, and then I won't go out for like 4 or 5 days because I don't need to. I'll stay home and list everything that I buy.
Mm-hmm.
I may pick up 1 or 2 things here or there, but it's kind of more my business model. Like tomorrow I'm going to go to the flea market. Saturdays is my flea market day. But there should be a video coming out tomorrow if I can. It's fully edited. I just got to finish the thumbnail. And then just more stuff along the way, man. Q4 is in full effect. So more what solds. I'm going to start doing more of those, and hopefully just doing more. I think Sunday nights I'm going to start doing like my live packing and shipping reseller talk, where like I'm just working on my shipping and I go live. I did that last week and a lot of people really liked it. I was sharing what I was selling, how I was shipping it, how much it was costing me, my profits. I was going through everything in the live, and then just talking about reselling in general. So but yeah, my wife just texted me and said that they're going to be home. They were at some event, so I do have to jump off and help with the kids.
Yeah, that's no problem.
But man, anytime you guys want to get
your live, what time are you doing that live on Sunday nights?
It's more than likely going to be later, probably like 9 or 10. It would Eastern Standard Time is when it would start. And I just like last week I went for like almost 6 hours, I think, just because I was having fun hanging out with people, and there were people in the chat, and I had a bunch of sales, so it took me a while when I was working with the chat. So,
cool.
But yeah, man.
Well, we look forward to
it. We appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Hopefully I didn't talk over you guys too much. I just get really
brother. It was all about you tonight, man. We appreciate you coming on. I dropped your link in the chat again, and if you haven't followed him, he's also in the description below. Definitely check out Drew, Mr. Profit Monsters here. Let's go, baby!
Let's go!
There we go. Hey, man, like I said, we do appreciate you coming in for sure. Sam, you got anything out of the ordinary going on other than
Man, I might drop a pre-record tomorrow.
Hey,
it's Christina's birthday tomorrow, so I've been trying to like get stuff together. We're finally taking like a honeymoon trip, so I finally finished like our wedding video that I wanted to share for folks on YouTube. I mean, that's like the cool thing about YouTube. I don't know about you, Drew. It's just I've kind of like throughout this COVID time, where people are a little bit more isolated, a little bit more distant, and less connected. It's kind of given, I felt like a place for me, especially to connect with people when, it was definitely, I felt like some of my personal relationships were kind of slipping by just because of the weird COVID stuff.
Yeah, COVID's actually really kind of messed with me because I'm a pretty big extrovert. Like
Mm.
one of my like not Dave Ramsey. There's a book called The Five Love Languages, and
Sure, yeah.
one of my love languages is words of affirmation. But then I have like a sixth love language that's not in the book called social interaction. But I guess
Sure.
you could refer to it as quality time
Mhm.
from the book. But like I love hanging out with friends. I love being with my friends and family, and when COVID hit, like I basically became a complete hermit crab. Like I just
Yeah.
focused on my business. I focused on my YouTube. So I'm really thankful for all the people that I've made friends with on YouTube and Instagram, and just like, talking to you guys and other resellers, Joey and Josh, and, certain people that I've just built, good connections with. There's a lot of resellers out there to watch, and I'm just thankful for all the ones that watch me and take time out of their day to watch my videos or listen to the podcast or anything like that. I'm just really thankful for everyone in the reselling community, even like Tommy, Bernard, and Tracy. Like I've learned a lot from Tommy. He's basically like kind of like my reselling dad. Like I ask him questions all the time. He always has an answer. So,
Yeah.
but I'm just really thankful for the people I've met, and I've learned a lot. It's helped me grow my business for sure. So,
Yeah.
step out of your comfort zone if you're a little introverted, and talk to other resellers. I haven't met one reseller on YouTube or Instagram who like said, nope, screw you. Everybody just
Yeah.
wants to help, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really is, man. It's good. That's what we talk about all the time. Is I feel like I feel like with COVID, honestly, what it's done is made obviously internet connections are closer than what they would normally would be. But I do think, man, like when I got involved in the community, I was like, man, I could not believe, that there was kind of this thing, and people are from all over the map. I mean, obviously, we had a big kind of weird thing in my chat a couple weeks ago with election and all that kind of stuff. But end of the day, man, for the most part, people are there for one another, like no matter what's going on. And
Yeah.
even though a lot of these guys I've never met in life, like me and Sam, we talk a lot, not as much as what we used to because we both had like craziness going on.
Mm-hmm.
But man, it's crazy because we talk and we've never met each other. We've just met through YouTube and the reselling community, and it's kind of crazy that we're able to have in-depth conversations about things, just life. We tend to talk about that just as much as anything else. Tim, over the years, thanks for popping in, bro.
Hey Tim, what's up, man? All right, guys. I hate to cut you off. I got to jump out though, but I really appreciate you having me on.
Thanks, brother.
It's an honor to be in here with you guys.
Bye, man.
So, have a good night, everybody. Thanks for listening to me.
All right, Jerry. Thanks for coming on.
Bye, man. I'll talk to you soon.
So everybody else in the chat, like we're obviously going to dip out as well. But I did want to let you know just some upcoming things for me. Listen challenge again on Tuesday. If you want to be a part of that, feel free to pop in anytime. We are not going to talk about politics, but you can talk about anything else you want to when you come in. I'm done with that, dude. I'm done with it. But like,
yo, you won't change the title of your like live stream, like will he concede or something crazy like that, just to see what you attract.
Gosh, we would have some guys blowing up. Right? Dapper Tiger for 1K.
49 away from 1K.
Know,
what a
49.
terrible. Why you guys were rewarding me for not putting out content? What is going on? I'm very grateful / disappointed in your positive feedback loop for my laziness. Thank you. I love you. What are you doing?
Yeah, they're waiting, man. They're waiting in anticipation.
I know.
But hey, yeah, if you get that video out, man, that'd be awesome. I actually have some cool stuff going on this weekend there. Myself and Ken, we went this past week. Well, today we went, and we're going again tomorrow. Another little thrifting / yard selling adventure. Going to preview that Star Wars stuff going down. And man, I'm actually speaking at my church this weekend, which is a kind of a rarity. But my pastor's out of town. He tapped me for coming on board with that. So I'll be
good person to do it
Sunday evening. So that'll be that should be good. I'm kind of preparing for that throughout the week. But do thank all you guys for being here.
Yeah.
obviously we appreciate your support as always. Thanks, Sam, for coming and kind of holding it down on the tech side of things. Hopefully by next week I'll have the internet a little bit more stable, so we can we can be back to a little bit less stressful on my end. But I do thank you guys for what you do. If you're not subbed to Sam, go ahead and sub him, even though he hadn't put out a video. Just because we love him like that.
It's like a month. I'm like, oh yeah, I should put out.
on the non-pre-recorded thing myself. I'm
yeah,
trying to get back on track. I've been taking the easy route out and hitting the.
I will say though, taking the little break that I did, I was working on the video and I was like hitting this like creative block, you know, and being able to kind of step away and come back. I was like, the juices are flowing. So I'm like, all right, feels good. I just got to remove a couple of, you know, copyrighted songs because I think YouTube will totally take it down. So I don't want them to smear my wedding video. Appreciate you, Sean. Thank you very much. And thank you guys for watching. Thank you again tonight. I echo everything that Eric says. Yeah, man, we can't do it without you guys.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys for being here. So once again, catch us next week. I'm not 100% sure who's going to be up here next week, but I know for sure the two of us will be here, barring something unexpected. But we will get that sorted out, and we thank you guys for being in. Also, I did want to say end of the month. Right now, I have one person that's locked in as a guest for the Reseller Rapid Fire. If you are in here, you haven't been a part of that in the past, you want to be a part of it, jump on. Hit us up on IG. And either one of us, and we'll get you plugged in. So thank you guys for your support. We will catch you next time. Y'all have a good evening. Later.
Good night.